Good afternoon, Vice President and Acting Dean of Kasetsart Business School, Dean of Faculty of Science, Professor Yunus, panelists as well, distinguished guests, faculty members, scholars, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this afternoon session, which is of course all related to social business. We are gathering today for a special event held by the Faculty of Economics and Kasetsart Business School. This special talk and panel discussion this afternoon is part of 57th Kasetsart University Annual Conference. This year, it's our honors to have special guest speakers with us, Professor Yunus, Nobel laureate in 2006, who's a pioneer and well recognized for his initiation of real practices of social business. And also Ms. Lamia, the director of Yunus Center in Dhaka, Bangladesh, as well as Dr. Fites, the director of Yunus Center at AIT, and also Dr. Badin Rasamite, the director of Yunus Center at Kasetsart Business School. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to thank all of you accepting our invitation to joining us today. By the way, the objective of this special event is mainly to provide insights of social business and update the current situation and share ideas related to social business, which shall be beneficial to all of us today. We have around 900, I would say about 200 participants pre-registered for this event. However, it seems that the actual numbers of participants today is a little bit kind of far more than those pre-registered. This probably implies that more and more of us are aware and recognize the critical role of social business in boosting economy, leading to economic sustainability in the long run. This afternoon session is divided into two parts. First is a special lecture by Professor Yunus, followed by the panel discussion. The umbrella theme for this special event is social business in the digitized world. Before we start the session, may I cordially invite Dr. Damrong Siparam, the Vice President of Kasetsart University, to give souvenirs for our guest speakers and to thank all of them be joining us today. Please. We are going to, yeah. Ms. Lamia, please. And Dr. Fites. And please, and the last one, Dr. Badin Rasamite, please. Thank you very much. So let's begin the first part of a very important day today, which is a special talk by Professor Muhammad Yunus, 2006 Nobel laureate and the founder of the Grameen Bank in Bangladesh. Please give him a big applause. And please, you want to join on the way? All right. Okay. Well, make it up to you if you want to stay below here at the front of the stage or up the stage. That's fine. Or we have a podium there. Okay, sure. All right. Okay. While we're preparing a microphone for him, I'd like to give you a brief introduction about Professor Yunus. He's also founder of the Grameen Bank, an institution that provides microcredit, which is small loans to poor people possessing no collateral, to help its client establish creditworthiness and financial self-sufficiency. And in 2006, Professor Yunus and Grameen received the Nobel Prize for Peace. Actually, Professor Yunus won a Fulbright scholarship. He studied and taught at Vanderbilt University, earning PhD in economics. And in 1976, Professor Yunus began a program of microloans, a credit system designed to meet the needs of the poor in Bangladesh. His work, according to academic background, Professor Yunus wrote several books. Recently, he wrote, in 2017, he wrote A World of Three Zeros, the new economics of zero poverty, zero unemployment, and zero net carbon emissions, which is a very interesting book. I like to read it. All right, so please welcome Professor Yunus.
Good morning, good afternoon, rather. Well, I'm very honored and very happy to be here back at the Yunus Center at Kasetsart University. I came here in 2016 to launch it, to open it. I'm hoping that this will be a kind of a center where everybody could discuss the issues that we raise in our societies, in our world, how this is being done. And this is the beginning, and now it has gelling, it's creating, and I'm very happy to come back and meet everybody at the center and also meet you. So my job would be to kind of brief you on what's going on and give you a little bit of glimpse of the background where it came from so that you know what reason I got into this track. Something that initially sounds very strange, but we took it very seriously and continued to do that. The reason all this happened, to give you a little bit of background of it, is the extreme desperation of the situation in Bangladesh back in the 1970s. Extreme poverty, extremely poor health, housing probably didn't exist for the poor people. And then it was topped with the famine in the country. So that's when all the thing began. And right at that time, as luck will have it for me, I was teaching in the university right there in Chittagong, in Bangladesh, and teaching economics. That's what particularly hit me. Because my feeling was that here I am in the university. I was happy teaching in the United States because those issues didn't come to me. But here, suddenly I felt that what I teach, these are empty words. Because the words that I speak to my young students doesn't sound proper because condition of the people outside, right outside the campus, is so terrible. And I said, if these things are something true, something real, what I teach in the classroom, then this must have some value in the life of the people who live right next to the university campus. So I felt a mismatch between the university and its neighbors. I said, if it is a university, if it's a reservoir, all the knowledge of the world, that's what the university is supposed to be, reservoir of all the knowledge, and we're passing the knowledge to the next generation. What good is that knowledge if it doesn't change the life even to the nearest person? So that question came, and I felt all the grand theories that I teach in the classroom, very elegant theories, lovely, lovely theories, has no meaning. These are just empty words, fiction. So I felt terrible that I have no capacity to touch a life who lives right next to me. So out of that desperation, I was thinking, what can I do so that I can be useful to somebody? What is the meaning of life if I'm not useful to somebody? And I see I'm not. I have beautiful graphs and pictures and things, but doesn't do anything for my neighbor. So first I raised this question within the university. What is the role of a university vis-a-vis the people who live around them? When I talk about my university in Chittagong, is a very unusual university, unlike Kasetsart University, which is surrounded by city right in the middle of the city. The one that I had, it was right in the middle of the village. So the 1,000-year-old village is next to the university campus. It's a brand new university, very shining, everything just like any other university anywhere in the world. So you see the difference between the real life and the artificial life of the professors, teachers, and everybody. So I said, we must find a way how to connect ourselves to make us useful to the people next door. Nobody listened. That's not our job. That's a government job. Our job is to teach courses, and we try to do the best thing we can do. I said, what does the course mean if it has no meaning to the life of the people? So what I did, I went outside the campus. I said, every day I go out of the campus and be in the village so that I come back to the real life. And I did it every day, and I get very familiar with the village, with the people. They know me, I know them. Luckily, I speak the same dialect with them, so it was easy. They took me as not a stranger, just another person in the village. And I started seeing things which I never saw before. My only mission was to see if I can make myself useful, even for a day, even to one person. So I didn't have a grand ambition, change the world sort of thing, no. I was just trying to see if I have any use for one more person, even for a day. So I don't have the capacity to change his or her life, but I can do something for the day. So that made it easy for me, and I'll go around, talk to people, see what do I do today. So those little things I did, and as I did, I get to know them better, know their problems better. So along the way, I did lots of little things which grew a little bit bigger. But one thing pushed me again and again, loan sharking in the village. We read about the loan sharking in the novels, in literature, in plays, in poems. Bengali literature is a very rich literature. They talk about these harsh stories about the life in front of the loan sharks, how they destroy the life of the other people. But we never read anything about loan sharks in our economics. Economics somehow stay out of it, as if that thing doesn't exist. Here in the village, I see loan shark after loan shark after loan shark. I hear terrible stories after one story after another story. And it made me again feel terrible about the subject I learned. I thought I wasted my life learning something which has no meaning to people, economics. How come they don't talk about the problem that I see in front of me? What is good of that economics if I have not learned some? This is economics. Loan sharking is in economics. It's not politics, it's not physics or something. It's economics. But they didn't teach me anything about it. So I again felt it's an empty subject. Unnecessarily wasted my time. So I was wondering what I can do in a situation like that. So one thought just came to me after a few days. Forget about economics. They have not done anything for me. Why don't I just go ahead and lend money to people? The idea was, if I lend money to someone, he or she doesn't have to go to loan shark anymore. So I protect that person. So what it means to the economy, to the growth, everything else, I don't care. I just wanted to protect one single person. I thought, this is what I'll do. I didn't have a second thought on that. I went ahead and talked to the people since I go there. I said, look, if you need any money, don't go to the loan shark. You come to me. And I'll give the money. And they asked, are you going to charge the same thing? You take away everything? I said, no. You just give me my money back. That's all. It's very simple. Take your time. No rush, but you pay back whenever you can. In the beginning, they didn't trust me. They thought this is another kind of loan sharking. This is a smart guy. He wants to do it in a smooth way. tried to make them understand that that's not my idea. So gradually 1 or 2% dared to come and take some little money, and I was very happy to give them. To make the long story short, very soon it became very popular. Everybody is trying to take money from me. And instead of getting worried about it, I get very happy about it. I said, now I see this is helping them. That's why they are coming to me. I have money in my pocket, so I didn't have to worry. I earned some money in the US, so it will take some time to run it out. So I was dishing out the money. Everybody needs it. The term is, you pay me back whenever you can. So that was the beginning. At that time, I was not talking about banking. I was only thinking loan shark and they're protecting the people. And when it became big, I thought my money is going to run out now. What do I do? How to protect this? How to continue this? So I thought about creating a bank. Why don't I create a bank? To make it something which goes on. It's not about me giving money out of my pocket. This is an institution. That's the trouble. The moment I wanted to do that, everything came against me. Bank said, no, you cannot create a bank. Bank doesn't do such a thing. This is stupid. Why should you lend money to poor people? They will never pay you back. I said, they are paying me back. Oh, they will do it for a while, but then they'll forget. Don't worry about that. Government didn't like it. Said, we have enough of trouble lending money to the rich. They don't pay back. And you want to create another trouble. I said, no, it's not the trouble. They are paying back. Said, they are paying back today because you are behind them. The moment you make it big, they will stop paying back. Central bank was opposed to that. So now you have to go again and again, bring it up, push them, convince them. So it will be little bank, so don't worry about it. So finally, in 1983, the story began in 1976. So 1983, finally we became a bank. We got the permission, everything. We are so happy that now I can do that. I was working with my students. That's all, me and my students. The whole thing is the story about me and my students. And they are working very hard to make sure that it gets done, it serves everybody who needs it. And it expanded and expanded. Took time. But very soon we became a nationwide bank. At that peak, when we have become nationwide, we have 25,000 staff doing the job in every single village of Bangladesh. What are the elements of it that we included which made it happen? Very simple thing. Whenever I try to design it, I look at the conventional banks, how they do it. And once I learn how they do it, I just do the opposite. I said, that's the best way to do it. Because they do the wrong thing. If I do the reverse thing, that will be the right thing. Same logic, very simple logic. And unknowingly started doing such reverse thing. The first reverse thing, they go to men, I go to women. Second one is they go to the rich, I go to the poorest. They are looking for the richest person, I'm looking for the poorest person. So we train our young people who come to work with us how to identify the poorest person. Do not do something in a village unless you have identified the poorest person in that village. It's not just anybody walk in and you give the money. They say, I'm poor, give me the money. No. You have to identify and make sure you start with the poorest person. The logic of it, if you can do it for the poorest person first, then gradually you can move up. But if you enter in the middle, you go from there to up. You never go down again. That's the whole thing. Somehow, there's a resistance power if you enter into somewhere other than the poor, because it always pushes you to the top. So to ensure it, we took a lot of time to identify the poorest person. We had a lot of definition. Who is the poorest person? So that you don't make a mistake. You talk about the poor, the moment you practically go and approach them, there's so many details to work out. Everybody claims I'm a poor person. The moment you say you're giving the money, you say, I'm a poor person, give me the money. Usually it's the well-off people who claim that. So we have to avoid them. So this is one part of it. Then we remove the whole idea of collateral. This is the biggest thing that happened to banking. We dismiss the whole fundamental issue of banking. And the fundamental thing on which the whole banking system stands is the collateral. We just totally dismiss the whole thing. Forget about collateral. I keep saying collateral is a wall which keeps the poor people out of business. So you only keep the wall raise the wall so that they cannot enter your territory. Your territory is for the rich people. The banking principle is, if you want to make it a simple principle, the conventional bank, richer you are, more attractive you are. They will love to do business if you're the richest person or close to that. And the reverse of it, with it, we say, poorer you are, more attractive you are. If you are the poorest, you are the most attractive person for us. And that's our fundamental thing. We were doing the poorest person. And we have to work it out. And we train our young people, after all your hard work, I'm skipping all the hard work, just to move on. Once you identify the poorest person, and you tell her what Grameen can do for you, about giving you money, you can start a business, etc., etc. After all your pitch, finally she says, no, I don't need money, you give it to somebody else. I said, if she says that, remember, this is the person we are looking for. Because she is the genuine person. She's so scared about the money. She says, no, don't give it to me. I cannot handle that. So your job, to the staff that we train, your job is to make sure you go back again and again to that young person, to that woman, again and again, a destitute person, to build courage. Because society has taken away anything about courage in her. She is a poor person, so no courage in her life, in her family ever. And she's a woman. Ever since she was born, the day she was born, the entire family was upset. It's a baby girl. And she grew up with that attitude of the family, with the neighbors. You're a girl. Your parents should have a boy, given birth to a boy who could look after them. Now you became a burden. You created problem for your family. So she starts with a guilty feeling. I brought misery for my family. I couldn't do anything for them. So she grew up from childhood as if she's invisible. She doesn't want to feel visible so that people don't see her. So you're violating that invisibility principle by asking her to take money. The moment she feels that the moment she touches money, she will be visible. She doesn't want to be visible. So I said, you go back to her again and again, gradually to build confidence in her. Don't talk about money, just build confidence in her. Show what others are doing. Don't tell her that she can do it, just simply show her. And hoping that someday, one of them that you met will say, maybe I should do something about it. The courage will come back. Once she holds that money may be $20, maybe $25. Once she holds that money, she will be probably shaking, not believing that so much money has been given to her by strangers who know nothing about her. Then she promises to herself, if they can have so much faith in me to give so much money in my hand, I never saw so much money in my eyes, now I'm holding it in my hand. I will keep that trust. I'll give my life to make sure that trust is not broken. tears will roll down her eyes, looking at the world, that she didn't expect something like this happen. So she promises to make that trust, and she keeps that promise. That's the whole story of what you call now Grameen Bank, microcredit and all that. Those word microcredit didn't exist. Simply when we have to explain to foreigners what we do when they are coming and visiting, so we had to come up with some ways. We started to talk about the small loans. And that finally got translated into microloans or microcredit. So the new word was born in English language. And people had difficulty translating in other languages. What does it mean? So it's done something which was never done before. Are we afraid? We are not afraid. We're simply desperate. We have to break that thing, that people are not seeing it, and we have to make sure it can be done. It has to be done. So it expanded and expanded, no collateral. As a result, what we have done in the Grameen Bank along the way, through the whole fundamental principle of banking, guarantee the collateral and all this stuff. So it's a collateral free. And I now keep joking about it. I said, look, one difference with the conventional bank and the Grameen Bank is our bank, Grameen Bank, doesn't have any lawyer. I said, ours is the only bank in the whole world which is lawyer free. We don't have a job for a lawyer in our bank because we don't have any papers. It's based on trust. If you want to go to borrow from any bank anywhere, you'll be given a stack of papers. And they will just point out where you sign. They don't even give you time to read because you don't even understand what they say. You don't bother to read. You just sign. It says you give everything in case you don't pay your land, your property, whatever. But that's the agreement. So this is the whole idea that we built on. And then something happens as we grew from one village to the next village and the next village. We saw how terrible their life is very closely because in our system we meet them every week. So you see whatever you see very vividly because you see them. Oh, basic principle again I should mention to understand what I'm saying. One basic principle we started out with in our banking. People should not come to the bank. Bank should go to people. So entire Grameen Bank is about to go to the people. They don't have to come to our office. They don't even know where the office is. They know the guy from the bank comes and you do the business, they give the money and we give the money back. So it's a direct contact at the family level, at the village level. So now we have 9 million borrowers of Grameen Bank. So 9 million families. And mostly women. 97% of our borrowers are women because we focused on women, as I said. We defied all the advice that, oh, women don't know anything. Why are you wasting your money? Nothing will happen to the family. You give the money to the women. We learned very quickly the best way to reach the family for any improvement is to enter the family through women. She understands much better than anybody else. And she's so committed than anybody else. That's again a long story, but this was the essence that we put. So now we stick to our principle. Nobody should come to the bank. Bank should go to the people. So what does it mean? We have to reach to the 9 million families within 1 week because everything we do in a weekly basis. So within 1 week, all our staff, all our people be fanning out throughout the country, reaching out at their doorstep, all these 9 million families, to do the banking at their doorstep. So that's the essence of it that we built up. Since I was describing it to tell you how close we get to them. One of the tests, again, another explanation how close we get, when we start recruiting young people, because now my students cannot go out to so many millions, so we have to recruit more students from other places. So we have a continuous recruitment, continuous training to make them understand how to go about and do that. So we tell them. So one of the tests that we perform after the training period is over is a very simple one. We tell them, and they know this question will be asked. We give them the piece of paper. I say, write down the names of the borrowers that you serve. Each staff is supposed to take care of minimum of 400 borrowers. So he or she has to now remember 400 names. Not everybody can do that. So all we do, this is the person who has the largest, biggest number of names he learned. He had 250. Somebody had 240, so he's second. Somebody has 235, he's third. So down the line. So at least that encourages them to see how many names can. Once you have done that, next task we give them. Okay, you got the names. Now write down the names of their children according to age. So meaning that how close are you? How much you know about that person? Because that's what the whole business that we are building is a relationship. That's all. Nothing else. We don't have papers, nothing. They trust us, we trust them. How can they trust you if you don't know them? So we have to go through all this. The reason I was telling you, it became very clear the terrible condition of their life. The first thing we noticed about their children. At that time in the 70s and early 80s, every poor family has with their children something terrible, at least within the group that we are working with. Someone in the family or more than one in the family about the children cannot see after the sun goes down. They go blind. And seeing it repeatedly, I get very worried. What happens to these kids? Why can't they see? Is it a disease? Is it a permanent thing? So I talk to my friends, doctors, people, health experts. What does it mean? They took it very casually. Oh, this is called night blindness. This is the disease. I see that's a night blindness. Of course, they can't see at night, so it's a night blindness. But can you cure them? Oh, it's easy. I said, what do you have to do? Oh, so you know what here happens? It's a vitamin A deficiency. Because these kids don't have anything with enough vitamin A, so their eyesight go down, they can't see. And if it continues the same way, soon they will become blind. I said, so many children getting blind? Already they are poor? So how do you cure them? Is it curable? He said, it's very simple. So what do? Give them a vitamin A tablet. So they will be cured. I said, well, then you have to go to the doctors or the pharmacy to buy the vitamin A. Okay, give them vegetables. It's easy. I said, okay, that's better. So I started giving, can I get some water? Yeah. So I started giving advice on how to grow vegetables so that the children can eat vegetables and so on. It continued. But they didn't pay any attention. So one idea we have, in order to encourage them to have vegetables, because one of the complaints they make, we don't have vegetable seed. How do we grow them? So I started selling vegetable seeds. I created a small program, buy the seeds from the market, best possible seed, and put them in a tiny little packet. Each packet will cost you a penny. And that covers the cost. But we cover the cost. Some are expensive seeds, some are less expensive. So with expensive seed, you have less. There are packets which is only one seed. There are packets which has hundreds of seeds because it's cheap. But we want to make sure we cover the cost so that it doesn't become a burden on the bank. It should be a separate thing. And people love that. They never saw such beautiful seeds, beautiful vegetable, varieties of vegetables, which never grown in those areas. It became very popular. So when our staff go to the village doing our banking, always carried a basket. Anybody interested to buy seeds? Okay, here is it. Give me the money. And then non-Grameen people started buying seeds because they see that these seeds are so good. This is not a different person. He's the banker guy selling seeds. We didn't see any difference. We see we are addressing people, so whatever we need to do, we do it. We don't say we are a banker, we don't touch this. As Grameen Bank grew, our seed business grew. At one point, as we go bigger and bigger, at one point it became the largest vegetable seed seller in the country. So it's a big business. We are importing seeds from outside because they are the good seeds. We see many seeds. And people never saw this kind of seed before because they are always relying on the local seeds and deteriorating quality and so on. Now they get the fresh seed. And by the time we became the largest vegetable seed seller, night blindness disappeared completely. Today, if you go back to Bangladesh, go to the village, talk to people, do you have night blindness? They look at each other. What is night blindness? Do your children go blind? Oh, why should the children go blind? They don't even know that such a disease exists. So we get very excited that you don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to go to government. You just do it yourself. You have to build up the relationship with the people. They trust you and they understand what you're trying to do. They accept it. And we took advantage of that relationship. The second point we noticed, the toilets. No village has a toilet. Anybody. It's just go outside, any place, behind the bush. And we start saying, look, we came to this toilet issue because we are focusing on the health condition of the women. If you are poor in health. If you are poor, you have the poorest health as possible. If you're a woman, it's the worst. So we meet the women. So we see the worst part of health. So we wanted to see. So we tried to see where we can do some things you could be helpful to them. So one of the common things we see, there is no toilet. So we made it a rule in Grameen Bank. If you want to join Grameen Bank, you have to dig a hole and use it as a toilet. Because they were saying, we don't have the money, how can you have toilet? I said, forget about money. Toilet is not about money. Toilet is about a habit. Why don't you just dig a hole? It doesn't cost anybody any money. And use it as a toilet. So it became a standard practice. If you want to join Grameen Bank, first thing we ask, do you have a toilet? If you don't, go back, have a toilet and come back. And then old borrowers who already joined, women come to consult with them. I want to join, I want to get some money, how do I do it? The first thing say, go and dig a hole. Then we'll talk to you. So it became a standard practice in whole of Grameen Bank that you have to have a toilet. So in order to have it, then we started giving loans. To give loan for sanitary latrine. Upgrading from the hall to a serious toilet. And we created a company to produce the toilet in the village. And the Grameen Bank gives the loan, they buy the toilet, they pay the money, buy the toilet, bring it home, and everybody has a toilet. So if you are a Grameen Bank borrower, it's 9 million families, without any question, they have standard toilets. That impacted in the rest of the village, which are well-off people. Because the women in those rich families, well-off families, they keep on complaining to their men folk. How come even the beggar woman has a toilet? Beggar woman means the borrowers from Grameen Bank. They are seen as a beggar woman. Even a beggar woman has a toilet. How come we don't have it? Because for women it's a really, really trying period to not to have a toilet. Because like everybody, they have to go out in the bush. And women cannot go out during the daytime. So you can feel what the problem is. The moment they saw there is a escape road, toilet. If you have a toilet, you can do anything, go anytime you want. So that built so much pressure. Today, Bangladesh, in the village, every family has a toilet. And now I see big movement, big campaign in India. The Prime Minister, every speech the Prime Minister of India makes is about toilet, because India doesn't have toilet. But we finished this whole job way back. Done. Again, we are not a health company. But we wanted to address this somehow, out of the necessity, out of the compulsion that we felt among us, a solution. And since we sell the thing, we don't have to be a burden to anybody. We just take the money, create the toilets, sell the toilet, get the money back, financial organization gives the money to the borrowers, and so on. Then we introduce health insurance. If you pay $4 a year, and we'll give you out of a loan, you can put $4 in the insurance fund. If you pay $4 a year, your entire family is covered under a full health care. Full health care. Any health problem, we take care of it. With a full doctor right in the village. Villagers never saw a doctor. Villagers live only with the quacks. Traditional medicine. Eat this, do this, drink this water, whatever. That creates more disease than solve it. So we bring the fresh medical graduates to live in the village, provide the health care. They're surprised that they see a medical doctor in the village. But they are paying for it. Once you collect $4 a person, you have enough money for the whole village, whole center, or whole branch of the Grameen Bank, to have enough money to have a full doctor for all your borrowers, and a clinic, and a pharmacy. All comes from your money. So we did one after another. This is a series of things gradually grew. One thing, I was explaining out of necessity I was doing it. Later the question came, why do you do it if you are not making money out of it? Because I'm saying that I do it in a business way. The people saying it's not a business because you're not making money. I said, I don't want to make money. They said, if you don't want to make money, can this be a business? I said, what's wrong with that? Is there a law in Bangladesh? If you don't take profit out of your business, you'll be put in jail? I said, there is no such law. So I'm not violating it. It's simply, I'm focused on solving people's problem, not making money for myself. Since I'm not interested in making money for myself, that's why I could do that. If I'm interested in money, I'll be doing something else in the city, where big money is waiting for me. I didn't do that. I said, I can solve the problem, and it should be sustainable. And I do many, many more of them. That's what, gradually after debate, I had to put a name to that kind of business, because business of a strange kind. You don't want to make money. Sounds so funny in economics, because we are drilled into our head that you have to make money in your business. Not only you have to make money, if you make the biggest money, that's what you should do. Maximization of profit. That's the principle of business. No, forget it. We don't want to maximize profit. We just want to help people get over their problems, but cover all the cost. It's not a charity. And then finally the name we put into it, call it social business. That's what we are, Yunus Center and everybody is trying to explain to the students what social business is. It's a new kind of business. Because business people don't understand why you should do that. I said, because I want to solve problems. And that's why we keep saying that this is something of a new kind of business. Conventional business has only one kind of business: maximizing profit. So we became greedy, because when you want to maximize profit, soon you feel the urge to make more money. I said, this is based on selfishness, self-centeredness. That's what economics says. All economic theory is based on one issue. They interpret human being as someone who is driven by self-interest. I said, that's where it all went wrong. Human being has two kinds of aspects. Not only self-interest, there's another aspect of human being, selflessness. That aspect was never introduced to economics. So economics became kind of one-sided thing. I said our economics has put us, they put on glasses in universities, we do that all the time, put on glasses on the young people with dollar signs. You see the world through dollar signs. And as if nothing exists except the dollar. I said, what I'm trying to do in my work, I found interesting to do, and talking about it, is there is another side of the world, another side of me, everybody. Selflessness, doing things to help people, solve world's problem, everybody's problem, not just making money for yourself. And you have the capacity. So all we have to do, give people option that you can do this, you can do that, or you can do both. So I said, economics has put us dollar sign glasses. I'm trying to replace that dollar sign glasses by bifocal glasses. You see dollar, you see people, or the whole world, which doesn't exist. So simply trying to make young people aware that, look, that it exists. You can see the whole world. Along the way, I became fascinated with the technology. I said, if we can bring technology to the poor people, it will change so fast now, because we have the money, now you need the technology. And by, again, a surprise thing, we got connected with the technology in a very big way. Government of Bangladesh notified in the newspaper, they're going to issue license for a private telephone company in 1995. In 1995, there was only one company, telephone, government company. Nobody else existed. All over the world, always government gave the telephone, nobody else. Private company didn't exist. In 1995, when this notice was in the paper, there's only 500,000 telephone in the whole country. A country of 170 million. Only 500,000 telephone in the whole country. Only in the city. And mostly in Dhaka city, capital city. Villagers never heard about telephone, never saw a telephone. They don't even know that there's a called telephone. And of the 500,000 telephone that existed in Bangladesh, almost half of them never worked. Telephone service so poor, you shout at the telephone, but you don't hear anybody else. That was the condition of telephone service in 95. So it was an exciting news that the private company will come, they will have telephone now. Our idea of telephone is about hello, hello, telephone, those old days for telephone. That cell phone idea never came, but this is a new trend coming. So we thought about it. What change it will make to the life of the poor people. And I said, if we can bring telephone to the poor people, their life will change so fast. So I said, why don't they apply for a telephone license? Grameen Bank applying for a telephone license. Okay. So we created a company called Grameen Phone, applied. 95. And the people who are receiving this application, they looked at our application, are you crazy? You give tiny loans to poor people? You want a telephone company? This is for the rich people. I said, well, telephone may be helpful to the poor people too. And we can sell our telephone to the rich people too. There's no problem. So we can run it. I said, why the poor people should need telephone? Who is she going to call? As if poor people don't have anybody to call. Then I tried to explain, look, we are not giving her a telephone to call somebody in the family. We're giving a telephone so that she can offer the service of telephone to the entire village and make money. Because nobody has a telephone, so you have to come to her. And she will give you the phone and check how many minutes you talk and charge you for the... She will be selling airtime. She says, see, crazy women selling airtime in the village. She doesn't know what a telephone is. I said, they will learn. They never learned. They never knew what a bank is. But now they own a bank because Grameen Bank is owned by the borrowers. So just because it never happened before doesn't mean it will not happen again. I said, it will happen. Then they asked me, you told us that all your borrowers are illiterate. Our borrowers are all illiterate, cannot read, cannot write. That was the condition of Bangladesh in the 70s, 80s. So how should she push this number? She doesn't know these numbers. And these are all in English. So I was very upset. They haven't raised this question that your borrowers are illiterate, they cannot push these numbers. I said, you know what? There are only 10 numbers in the whole world. You cannot get an 11th number. If they know that by pushing this number it brings money, they will learn it in 10 minutes. I said, they are illiterate, but they are not stupid. Simply, society never gave them a chance. So don't take it from them. Give them a chance. So finally, we got the license. And we set up the whole system, our towers and all this, to address the village. We didn't pay any attention to the city. Telephone company always pay attention to the city because they think this is the big market. We thought the market is the people. So all the towers that we built in the village, focusing on the village folks. We started giving loans to our women, borrowers. Buy yourself a telephone. Here is the money. And then sell the service of the telephone to the people. And people in the village very excited. Telephone came to the village. It came to her, not to the richest guy. Usually it will be the richest guy who will have the phone and show everybody that I have a telephone. It's the poorest person and the poorest woman. Illiterate poorest woman has a shiny cell phone. And everybody lining up to make a phone call. It became a roaring business. We started calling them telephone lady. Because she is the only one who has the telephone. Everybody knows who is the telephone lady. And it was the easiest way to get out of poverty very fast. In 2 years' time, you are a very happy person. You build a new house because you are earning so much money. And people are paying gladly. So within 4 to 5 years, we had about 400,000 telephone ladies all over the country. So our telephone company rolled out the business very fast. That idea of serving poor or serving the village didn't come until Grameen Bank has done that. Today it's very normal. All the telephone company comes, 1, 2, 3, you go to the village because that's the market. When the telephone company that we built, we were negotiating with our foreign partner, Telenor. Telenor never worked in Asia before. So we are the first one to introduce ourselves. Please help us set up a bank, set up a company, telephone company. Asia, where are you? We're in Bangladesh. Where is Bangladesh? They don't even know where Bangladesh is. So luckily the CEO of the company was very fond of me because of my credit and all that. He admired me so much. He instructed his office that we should do something with him. So do whatever it needs. So reluctantly those guys agreed. They made a study, hiring some consultancy firm in England to study what is the size of the market in Bangladesh for cell phone. What is the recommendation after months of study? They said maximum number of cell phone this company can sell is 250,000. They were studying the market, that the whole Bangladesh has a market of 250,000 telephone. That's all. The company Telenor was very upset that it's such a tiny market, what do we do? I said, you forget about this. They don't even know what they're talking about. I said, you can sell in millions, not just 250,000. The CEO said, do whatever he says. Let's go ahead, see how it happens. So they agreed. We rolled out. We went to the poor people. They made the telephone ladies. Telephone service became very popular throughout the country. Today, 2019, we have a country with 170,000 people. We have 120 million. So 170 million people. We have 120 million telephone sets in the country. Every family has multiple phones. Poor, rich, even the beggar has a telephone. So cheap, so useful. So suddenly, new technology penetrated all over Bangladesh. They are calling all over the place. Within the country, outside the country, everybody is talking. And telephone company makes money. We are the largest telephone company. Grameenphone is the largest telephone company in the country. There are 4 telephone companies. Grameenphone has more than half the market share. So you can imagine what this means. And we started with poor women. Poor women negotiated the whole market, created the market. Today, still to do that. So technology came very, very sharp. And then from 2G to 3G to 4G, they're moving on. Now everybody knows how to download, how to do this. So you bring that. Then we start saying, we can bring that education. We can bring healthcare. The moment you have telephone connection, the moment you have 3G, you have 4G, everything is possible. Now we have cell phone developed. You can scan your eyes and find out what is your problem with your eyes. Just look at the telephone and they give you reading. It's there, already exists. You can hold your telephone in your hand and see in the screen all those graphs. This is your ECG, echocardiogram. So you don't have to go to the doctor to put in all those things, lie down there to make it echocardiogram. Telephone does that. Telephone can do all kinds of things. I said, this is Aladdin's lamp now. If you have it, everything can possible. So it's a question of what we want from the telephone. Everybody wants to do the Facebook, that's all. But this is a machine, it's not just for Facebook. Transform the world. But that's not the direction we take. We'll talk about the social business. One friend of mine in the USA, Ray Dalio, is a very rich man, one of the top rich men. He is very fond of me, but again, because of microcredit, we created together what is called Grameen America, which is running the Grameen program in the USA. So one day he invited me for lunch in a restaurant and brought his son, young son who just finished university. So the sum and substance of the discussion during the lunch meeting, he said he wants to go into business. He asked for money from me. Ray doesn't want to give money to him. He said he should make his own money. So I want to introduce him to you. He will tell you what he wants to do. And he says he wants to do good things for people. If he can convince you the thing he wants to do is good for people, I'll give him money, whatever you recommend. So I took the responsibility, okay, I'll do that. Out of this negotiation with the father, he went ahead with creating a company. Named it, the company name is Endless. You understand why Endless is. Opportunities are endless. He came up with this small computer. I said, everybody has a computer. Come on, why you want to do a computer? Oh, no, this is different. I said, we had the MIT lab creating a $100 computer. You remember the $100 computer became a very popular thing, but didn't go anywhere. Nobody bought that. Only a few government paid some money to get it, but people didn't buy it. He said, I want to help. I said, you have the same MIT problem? No, this is different. How is it different? He said, my computer will be less than $50, number one. I said, well, if they wanted $100, you want $50, then that is not a big difference. Today you can do everything with a mobile phone. Who wants a computer? Yeah, that's it. In my computer, all I need, everybody has a television now. There's hardly anybody in the world without television. So I don't need a screen for my computer. So screen is out. That cost is, you use your television screen, okay? All you need is a mouse, and that's it, and a little chip when you got your computer. The chip will be the computer, and you set it up. You see everything on your television screen, as long as you know, otherwise it's television. I said, okay, but what is how much you can do? What, entertainment and so on? No, it's very important. Why? So, you know, all the world's information I can bring to this computer, little computer. How? I said, they are trying to bring internet. Without internet, you cannot do anything. This is what I'm going to do. I don't need internet. Then I became serious. I said, tell me, without internet, how are you going to bring all the information of the world? He gave me amazing information. You see Wikipedia? Wikipedia has all the information in the world. So you need a big storage. And I want to bring all of Wikipedia into this little computer. Built into the computer. You don't need internet. It's in your computer. How do you do that? What storage capacity can you have this and this? It's very simple. 80% of all the information in Wikipedia is only accessed by 3% of people. Or 3% of the world population, what they want out of Wikipedia means only 3% of Wikipedia. 80% of Wikipedia. 3% people, 80% of the people only use 3% of the Wikipedia. This is statistics available. So I don't have to put all the Wikipedia. I just take the 3%. That 3% is much easier. All I have to do is create that chip. So I put it in this little thing, and you have mouse, and you have world's information. See, you know Khan Academy? I said, of course I know Khan Academy. Salman Khan is a good friend. He's from Bangladesh. So we know his family and so on. For example, he said, entire Khan Academy production, you get it in the little chip, included. And any other such thing you want, we put it in it. Whatever you want, we put it there in the chip. One chip, that's all. I said, yes, that makes sense. If you can bring it, then whole school system can change, because all the information is here. Any language you want. I said, but one problem. You put all the Wikipedia information there in that chip, but information keeps changing every minute. And Wikipedia adjusts itself every second. So this is updated. How do you update it? You put it there and it's 1 year old, this information is obsolete. That's the thing. This will be continuously refreshed. How? You need internet. So all they have to do, carry this little thing, this small thing, come to the nearest internet point, wherever it is. Just plug it in, wait for an hour, it will refresh itself. You are as good as current. You got all the information. So this is the power that you can have. So that's why he named it endless. I said, you want to make lots of money? He said, no, I want to do two sides. One making money company, and another social business company. In one, just I would devote myself into the things that people need. Another one, I want to make money from the rich people. They need it too. I said, okay, as long as you keep it separate, I'm with you. Now that's endless here, it costs $75. And same thing, we are trying it in Bangladesh to giving it to schools, how they use it. I said, you didn't keep the word. He said, $50. He said, wow, this is experimental production. That's why $75. The moment I go into mass production, it will be under $50. So it's a question of what you use of the technology. That's the important thing. Once you do that, suddenly lots of things can happen by using the technology that you have in your hand. Today, as I said, this handset, the cell phone, is the Aladdin's lamp. Question is, what you want to do with it. We are not asking the question of how do you solve the problem of the world. We are saying how to make more money out of the. Everybody's advertising, everybody's doing silly reels and so on, enjoy it and so on. Is so much entertainment part into it, rather than solve. Is all here what you want. So that's what we want to bring to the young people to see what is it you want. What is the purpose of your life? Have you ever thought there is a purpose to your life? That's the question we raise. And we see the options. At the same time, we keep reminding them, job is not the destiny of the young people. Job is the wrong direction. Because all human beings are packed with unlimited creative capacity. That's what the human beings are all about. But the job takes away creative power. The moment you accept a job, you guillotine your creative power, because job doesn't need your creative power. Job runs by directions. You follow the directives. You like it, you agree it, doesn't matter. You have to get it done. I said, that's a sacrifice of what you have inside of you. Inside of you, you are a giant of a human being. Every human being. Whether you come from the rich family, poor family, doesn't matter. It's packed. As the computer, pre-packed, everything, all the knowledge. That's why the human beings are packed. All the creative power. But, unfortunately, you give up that creative power for the sake of a daily living. I said, that's not what the purpose could be. I said, basically, all human beings are entrepreneurs. That's what the creativity comes. And that creativity for what? What use you want to make of creativity? First, become aware that you have the creative power, unlimited creative power. Then raise the question, what do I use it for? You can use it for making money, tons and tons of money. That's your creative power. But you can change the whole world. It's a choice. So make up your choice. What do you want? You want to make yourself rich, or you want to make the world a place that you feel proud of, that I have done. When I was there, this is what I did. And that's what you do. Anybody can do that. That's why I was trying to give the example how it all began. It was not a complicated thing. Simply you want to do things in a way it makes sense to you. The moment it makes sense to you, go for it. Forget about what your teacher taught you in the classroom. He's wrong completely. You are right, because that's what your heart says. This is what has to be done. And make it move, make it happen. Technology on your side, if you want to use it. If you don't want to use it that way, technology will be against you. And that's what the artificial intelligence is all about. It's against you, because you're not paying attention to it. Rich people are paying attention to it, because it brings more money for them. The more artificial intelligence comes to their use, they become richer, because their cost of production will go down, their profit margin will go up, they will become extra rich. And in the process, what happens? Human beings are pushed away from their work. So massive number of people will be out of job in the next few years. One estimate is about 500 million people will be out of the existing job in the next 15 years. Can you imagine what happens to those families and so on? And then you wait for a few more years, everybody will be out of job. What happens to human race? That's the question you have to answer. They say their answer is, the rich people who are behind all this, their answer is, well, government should give them universal basic income. I said, is this the fate of human being, that ultimately they become beggars? You living on somebody else's charity is becoming a beggar. I said, I don't want to live in that society. I want to live on myself and take care of others. I don't want to receive a check and live my life. I said, I don't want that technology. How can we stop that technology? That issue has to be resolved. And that's what the universities are for, to raise those questions, find the answers, and tell all the policymakers you are in the wrong direction. Prove me wrong. I don't have to be right, but prove me wrong. This is not the way it is happening. I'll be very happy. But I see every day it's happening. People will be out of job. And their young people do not have jobs. And I was saying that, look, you don't even look for jobs, but there's something else. Today, that has not happened. So what happens to the society as a whole? That's a very bleak picture. I said, probably human race will be finished in the next 30, 40 years. It will not exist at all, because artificial intelligence will take care of it. Because artificial intelligence, not only it is intelligent, it is getting intelligence every day, because it's a machine learning. It doesn't go to human being to learn. It learns by itself. It follows you. Learn everything you do. And know everybody's everything. And then it creates more, it programs itself. So can you imagine something which programs itself, is a machine learning process? What is the power? It becomes more and more intelligent than human being. Just ask the question, if this is true, what will be the relationship between human being and artificial intelligence? Imagine a world where artificial intelligence is 10 times more intelligent than human being, 10 times. How would they look at the human being? They look at human beings, these are stupid guys running around the world, eat, consume, fight with each other, make a mess, create trouble for the environment. Get rid of them. We don't need them. And they will find a very intelligent way to get rid of us. Simple. Definitely they will not be subservient to us. They will make us subservient to them. You saw it in movies. Such a thing happened. Today is a reality we are approaching. So, technology is good, but technology can be a blessing. Technology can be a very serious threat and a curse. So all I'm arguing, please draw a line. Use technology to make it a more and more blessing, because it's there. You can do that. And make sure you do not cross the line, red line, to cross into something which will threat us, take away a sense of a human being, what we are. I hope we can escape that. We'll be more intelligent now so that we don't have to regret later. We can make those decisions and make sure when they say artificial intelligence, we don't start jumping around in celebrations. We see that's something I have to examine. I have to find out what it is. But it can be done. That's the whole idea. That nothing is beyond human capacity. Always remember, human being has all the capacity to solve all the problems of the world, if they want it. Only problem is we are not wanting it. We are so busy with ourselves. The moment we separate ourselves and others, and let's start looking at other people's problem, then all the problem gets solved. That's what the social business is all about. I hope you can look at it seriously and see what it means to you. Thank you very much.